Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. This is Starknet All Core Devs call number 47 and few quick housekeeping items that we'll be recording this session. So folks who could not join and make it and catch up today, they can catch it up later. If you're not speaking, please stay on mute so we keep the audio clear. Still, the meetings are going to be at 12 p.m. UTC. That won't change through March. And for today's agenda, we'll kick things off with Ethan covering some key Starkware developments and then move through updates from each of the client teams and then finish with space for some additional topics if anybody has anything to say. So let's jump in. Now, Ethan, good to have you here. I want to start with that testnet situation from late Feb, the block hash calculation issue that triggered the downtime and reorg. So you pulled that code to stabilize everything. So where do things stand right now? And has the investigation wrapped up? And are we ready to bring that code back online on testnet? And any releases for the report of that particular reorg?
Yes. So as we speak now, we are upgrading the code on testnet to include the fixes and changes we've made to that piece of code that created the bug that we saw on February 25th. Meaning that we have totally completed our investigation. We have implemented fixes and guardrails to prevent such a situation from happening again. And we have tested it on our integration network, and now we are bringing it back to our testnet environment. So everything should be in line for our eventual mainnet upgrade using this piece of code. What's important about this change that we're making is that it further it brings us closer to our goal of decentralization. So some of these upgrades that aren't necessarily felt on the user side actually have big backend influence or impact in terms of our decentralization. So there's certain components that are virtually invisible from the outside, but inwards in the Starknet production of blocks, it's taking a component that's centralized and moving it to all of our decentralized sequencers. So this is one such of those components, and we added more guardrails to this process. What we saw on February 25th was a bug where it could only happen because all 5 sequencers now produce their own block hash, whereas before that block hash was produced by a centralized system. And that bug was caused because one of those nodes had calculated it with the wrong timestamp. And we found the culprit to that, why it was the wrong, and have created all these guardrails to prevent such reorgs from happening, and also preventing a situation like this from arising in the first place. So that's what we've been doing this morning. Unfortunately, this morning when we were aligning the code and preparing it for today's upgrade on testnet, we encountered a network issue that brought to a 10 to 12 minute downtime of testnet. But since then, we've been continuing with our plans to bring this feature to testing this afternoon. So that's in regards to Starknet and the current code that we have on testnet and February 25th reorg. The one other thing I want to talk about is our RPC spec, which has uh, which is in its final release candidate version. My hope is to release a final version uh, later today once I get the okay from both Equilibrium and Nethermind that um, this RC is good to work with, and there are no further questions in regards to how to implement it.
Okay, understood. So, what's the revised target that we are looking forward, like right now? Like by when the testnet code would get, like the code which you were altering during the testnet thing, so it would get uh, merged in the production. Like by when do you think that could happen?
Yes.
Like, do you have a
So
timeline?
yeah, we have a timeline. Great question. Sorry, I didn't mention it. Our timeline for bringing this to mainnet is the 18th of March. I think Ohad had posted it in several channels. And as of the 17th of March, we will begin the next cycle of upgrades to the 0.14.2 Starknet version. So that will be hitting integration around then. And as such, that is the current RPC spec is geared to be compatible with this 0.14.2 version. So that is why my plan is to release it later today, hopefully, so that we can get versions of Equilibrium and Nethermind released prior to integration. And then we'll begin the next cycle with all these proving protocols.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Ethan. And also, in our previous call, you shared that you would settle on a specific propeller implementation, one with two different networking tiers depending on the stake size that people have. So you mentioned bringing Andrew, and we have Andrew here. So I think we can go to Andrew now. And if Andrew, you can break down the technical architecture and specifications. So yeah, over to you.
Sure. I took the liberty of preparing some slides. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
All right. Yeah, so we made some design changes in Propeller. We kind of changed some stuff around to take into account staking. Just a reminder, what is Propeller? So the proposer takes the message, chunks it up into small bytes, adds some read Solomon encoding to get even more shards. We call these like little bits shards. You get even more shards, and then you send each person or each other node in the network its own shards, and they send it to each other. And that's how Propeller works. The general logic, I don't know if you guys remember this. Let me just close this real quick. So the general logic that was there was just if I get F shards, I can build the message and I can build my own unit. And then if I haven't already received my own unit from the proposer, I send it to everyone, and then I wait till I get two F shards, and then I receive the message. And there was some logic behind why we did this and what happened. Is everyone on board? Does anyone remember what propeller is?
Yes, yes.
All right, great. Um, so the first thing we changed is instead of counting shards, we're now counting stake. What does that mean? Each node has its own assigned shard, sorry, its own assigned unit, and we are basically, instead of counting the number of shards, we're counting who are the people that are owning these shards, and we're summing up the amount of stake that we have. So instead of building on what we have, what we called F shards, we now build when we have 1/3 stake, and it's just the same flow, but instead of counting shards, we're counting the stake that is associated with those shards. Okay, and this would kind of provide the same rules or the same assumptions that are done by Tendermint. So we're basically, after you do this, you're assuming the same thing. The only issue with this is that you have some bandwidth things that need to change because of this requirement of having 1/3 of the stake always being able to build shards. So if you have like a small group, maybe two people that together they have one third stake, you need to be able to build with just two shards. So that was kind of a problem with this approach, and we fixed it by a few adjustments that I'll just talk about. So the first thing we did is we had multiple shards inside of a unit. A unit is what is sent to each. You send one unit per each node, so each node owns its own unit. And instead of one shard per unit, as it was before, we thought we would have multiple shards in the same unit. And when you do this, you can kind of control how big are the units. And so you would give larger stakers larger units, which is what we did afterwards. We were like, all right, if you have, so this is just for kind of to get to the idea. If you have three stake, you get three shards. If you have one stake, you get one shard. Two stake, two shards. Again, there's a quantization issue here, but that's okay. We're only doing this to kind of make the bandwidth assumptions a bit easier. And once we do this, we're close enough where, you know, our correctness assumes our correctness is based on the fact that we're counting the stake, so we're good in terms of how correct it is. And we're just fixing the bandwidth problem by making these quantized allocations between shards or between units actually. And then the fourth change that we added was that the proposer has its own shards too. So its own shards too. So its own unit. Before this wasn't the case. Before you just sent everyone its own unit, and the proposer does not have some extra data that it needs to send. We've landed on actually adding the requirement that the proposer has its own unit. We looked at different kind of options that we can go with, and this is what you talked about. You asked Aitan that we had some stuff to kind of narrow down. It was basically this versus not doing this. We ended up going with this. So with having the proposer own its own unit. And those are the changes. That's basically it. I don't think I have any more slides.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask Andrew? Okay. And I mean, I have a question, like what actually is the inspiration behind changing it from like shards to a stake? Like what was the reason that you guys had to transition to this?
Oh, all right. So the assumption that Tendermint makes inside the algorithm is an assumption on voting power. It's an assumption on stake. It says that no more than one third voting power, one third stake, is malicious. What we previously had was no more than one third nodes are malicious. So this was a problem because you can have many low stake nodes that come into the network. They don't really have a lot of stake in, but there's a lot of them, and so they would create this vulnerability that Tendermint does not have, but Propeller does. So we wanted the same exact assumption, and because we wanted the same exact assumption, we needed to account for stake and not just amount of nodes.
Makes sense. Okay, cool. Thank you, Andrew. And thanks for this update and presentation. And now we can move to client teams. So we'll start with Christian. So when we last spoke, you were holding off cutting a new beta version for V 0.10.1 until that RPC RC3 spec drop. So did RC3 end up releasing? And if so, have you guys shipped the updated beta?
Oh yes, we did ship an updated beta version yesterday that has support for the new RC3 version of the JSON RPC spec. As far as we know, the only missing thing is the finality status change for the pending/pre-latest block. We are also already working on that, but that's not really closely tied to the actual JSON RPC interface. It's more like a semantic change that we will implement in our next version. As always, this is still a beta version, so we don't recommend this version to be used on mainnet/testnet today. Our latest version for those networks is still 0.21.5. So that's our latest stable version.
Okay. And also in the last call, you flagged that some upcoming major releases would drop the HTTP auto version for Ethereum nodes,
Oh yes,
requiring well, yeah.
yes, that is still true. That's already true for the beta version we have released yesterday. We will add this to the release notes of all these versions and to the final version as well. Basically, we already required a working WebSocket connection to the Ethereum node. It's just that we had a fallback that tried to just rewrite the URL that if you were still using an HTTP or HTTPS URL for your Ethereum node, we would rewrite it to VS or VSS. Or WS or WSS, but only this rewrite logic is gone now. The requirements for the Ethereum node is exactly the same as it has been for the past couple of major releases of Pathfinder.
Okay, solid. Thanks, Christian. And now we can move to Rodrigo. So let's hear from him. So Rodrigo, you mentioned that there was a pre-release for RCO 10.1 ready the last time when we talked. So the same question, once RC3 shipped, did you refresh the pre-release with the updated specs?
Yes, we're currently working on it. So far we are just missing one of the things to fully release, which is the get state new change. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I think we're still waiting for that. Other than that, actually, I think
Okay.
should be ready for today or tomorrow, and then we will release one business day after that. I mean, if it's ready for today, we'll make the RC release tomorrow. If it's ready tomorrow, then we'll do the RC release probably on Monday, or we can on the weekend, but maybe not. We'll see.
Okay. Okay. And the new tree work, you said it was in review and was heading into O16. So how has that been merged into the code base?
Yeah, we haven't merged it because we have put everybody to work on the to make sure for the release to be ready. And so far we haven't released that part yet. But yeah, it will be part of O16. We are reviewing it, we are discussing it. We plan to commence internal testing around next week. It will be a while before it's ready, right? Because it's a very delicate change. And then, but yeah, it's internal, like not so important for end users. It will be available. It will definitely be available on O16, but it will not be like default. People will be able to opt into it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rodrigo. And let's talk with Hemang from Madara. Hemang, this is the update everyone has been waiting for. You explicitly said that in the last call that you would know by today whether the mainnet sync fix has worked. So you were testing it and hoping to confirm whether you would achieve full sync. So what's the outcome now?
Yeah, so we have been able to sync to the almost latest state. We are like 1 to lag blocks behind, so that's working on right now, and hopefully we would be synced completely by the by the next call. Yeah.
Okay. And SNOS 014.1 user feedback, do we have something there?
Everything is working fine there. We have been able to work properly with it, and I think the Dojo team had reviewed the PR and we had released the latest version as well. So that's also working fine.
And also there was a memory optimization PR, right? That you guys
Yeah.
had opened. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you're talking about Cairo native memory optimization PR, if I'm
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Yeah, we've been having some back and forth with the Lambda class team, and it is still pending. It's just a PR review process that is a little slow going on right now.
And also, could you tell like what is exactly blocking the progress as to like the full sync to mainnet? Like you said, one or two blocks are lagging. So what exactly is the blocker?
It's just taking some time to sync right now because we were only able to resolve it recently only. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
And
there's one
also,
more.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. Tell me. Continue.
There's one more update about the parallel localization. We've been fixing some bugs here and there, and we are right now generating a report. So soon we'll be able to present that as well. I'll send that in the channel itself. So that's one update about that side as well.
This is what I was going to ask you. And like, is there a benchmarking report that you guys would be publishing?
Yeah, we will.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Hemang. And that's a wrap for our planned agenda items today. Let me check if there is anything else. So, yeah. Does anyone have any additional topics that they would like to raise before we close the call? Anything we should cover that didn't make the agenda today? Okay, nothing. Then, all right. Let me wrap things up. We had a great session today, everyone, and thanks for all the updates. Two quick notes is that our next call will be in 2 weeks, that is Thursday, March 26th, at the usual time. I'll post the recording to YouTube and get the notes on GitHub as usual. So thanks again for your time, everyone. See you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.